one empire, one faith, and one sovereignty in the world, and he styled himself the sovereign of two seas, the white and the black. This was alien territory for the Ottomans. The sea is not solid ground. There are no natural frontiers, nowhere for nomads to pitch camp. It is uninhabitable. It remembers nothing. Islam had established footholds in the Mediterranean before and then lost them. But Mehmed had already set down a clear declaration of intent. He brought a large, if inexperienced, fleet to the siege of Constantinople, and the Ottomans were quick learners. In the years after the conquest, Mehmed commissioned a copy of a map of Europe by the ancient geographer Ptolemy, translated for him into Arabic by Greeks. Here he studied the configuration of the sea in predatory detail. He ran his finger over Venice, Rome, Naples, Sicily, Marseille, and Barcelona. He traced the gates of Gibraltar. Even faraway Britain fell under his gaze. The translators had prudently ensured that nowhere was marked as prominently as Istanbul, and Mehmet was as yet unaware that the Catholic kings in Spain were in the process of constructing a matching set of imperial ambitions at the map's western edge. Madrid and Istanbul, like giant mirrors reflecting the same sun, were initially too far apart to be mutually visible. Soon, hostility would focus the light. Even Ptolemy's map, with its unfamiliar misshapen peninsulas and distorted islands, could not conceal an essential fact about the Mediterranean. It is really two seas, pinched at the middle by the narrow straits between Tunis and Sicily, with Malta sitting midstream, an awkward dot. The Ottomans would quickly dominate the eastern seas, the Habsburgs of Spain the western. In time, both would converge on the dot. Nowadays you can fly the length of the Mediterranean from southern Spain to the shores of Lebanon in 3 hours. From the air it is a peaceful prospect. The orderly procession of ships moves tamely over the glittering surface. The thousands of miles of crenellated coast on the northern shore reveal holiday villages, yacht harbours and smart resorts, as well as the great ports and industrial complexes that provide the economic muscle of southern Europe. Every vessel in this calm lagoon can be tracked from space. Ships travel at will, immune to the storms that wrecked Odysseus and St. Paul. To our ever-shrinking world, the place the Romans called the centre of the world seems tiny. 500 years ago, people experienced the sea quite differently. Its shores were coasts of hunger, stripped early of trees, then soil, by men and goats. By the 14th century, Crete was able to furnish Dante with an image of ecological ruin. In mid-sea sits a wasteland, he wrote, which once was happy with water and leaves. Now it is a desert. The sea is also barren. The Mediterranean has been formed by dramatic geological collapse, so that entrancing, transparent waters at its edge plunge away sharply into deep submarine gulfs. There are no continental platforms to rival the rich fishing grounds of Newfoundland or the North Sea. To those living on the shore, the million square miles of water, broken up into a dozen separate zones, each with its own particular winds and coastal irregularities and scattered islands, were intractable, vast, and dangerous, so big that the two halves of the Mediterranean were different worlds. A sailing ship might take 2 months to make the voyage from Marseille to Crete in good weather, in bad, 6. Boats were surprisingly unseaworthy, storms sudden, pirates numerous, so that sailors generally preferred to creep around the sea's coastal margins rather than cross open water. Peril attended the voyage. No sane person would step up the gangplank without committing his soul to God. The Mediterranean was a sea of troubles, and after 1453 it became the epicenter of a world war. On this terrain was played out one of the fiercest and most chaotic contests in European history, the struggle between Islam and Christianity for the center of the world. It was a drawn-out affair. Battle rolled blindly across the water for well over a century. The opening skirmishes alone, in which the Ottomans eclipsed Venice, lasted 50 years. The struggle assumed many forms: little wars of economic attrition, pirate raids in the name of faith, attacks on coastal forts and harbours, sieges of the great island bastions, and, rarest of all, a handful of epic sea battles. The struggle sucked in all the nations and special interest groups that bordered Mediterranean waters.